It's going.
It is.
You know what? This is just so awesome.
Lights on.
I was telling these kids this morning, you know, I saw Kennedy shot. I mean, I saw Oswald shot on TV on this tiny little black
I
and
did
white.
too.
And then I was really aware of the King thing on little bitty TVs. And now we just did all this stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it just blows me
You
away.
might have to sit over here so I can look at
I'm
you.
going to. Okay, so my first question, you know, there's been all this talk, and we've been talking all this time about change.
Mm-hmm.
And so the thing that I'm really curious about is what people mean when they say the word change. So that's my first question, is when you say the word change, you, Bill, what do you mean?
What people want and what they really need when they say change are two different things. And so what you want when you say change is you want things to just instantly wiggle your nose like Samantha the Witch, and poof, it's different. But you don't want to go through the death before the new life. What they really need in order to have change is the old way has to pass before the new way has a chance to flourish. And in other words, you need to create a space, you need to create a vacuum before the new things can occur. And in the vacuum, in the darkness, it really sucks.
Mm-hmm.
So part of my longer term optimism about particularly what we're going through right now is we need a lot of changes. And the cleansing that is occurring, the 100-year fire that is occurring, the 100-year storm we're going through right now, if I can get back to the observer space a little bit more and not think quite so much about how little fun it is to go through the death. For the scope of changes that you'd hope to have, this is the kind of cleansing that's required. Not a lot of fun going through it. We're not done with it yet, but it's important. So then, change as what they say, I think, is we just want to instantly be to the new place. Can't be there. Gotta go, let the old go. People who've gone through some personal development, that's what happens. Then new shows up once there's space, and sometimes there's a period of time when nothing grows. And we may be in one of those this time, where we have a period of time not dissimilar for the entire planet to what occurred in the tech business as the aftermath of the internet bubble. And so for a few years there, for maybe 2 years, maybe a little more, after the internet bubble burst, it was pretty much impossible to grow anything, to start a new company, to plant anything in the ground. The ground just needed to, it had been overworked and it needed to lay fallow for a while until it could heal. And I don't know if we're going to be in that same spot with the world economy or not. I hope not quite that way or for quite that long. But there could be some pretty meaningful changes that occur out of this for quite a while.
You're speaking generally, and it feels like personally at the same time.
Oh, certainly, because I'm connected to the economy, and I identify far more than you do with money as part of who I am.
Because of your vocation,
because of my work, and because of the wealth that has come my way, and so I'm trying to redistribute it, to pass it out, to try to help others with it. I've personally learned some very painful lessons recently that it doesn't really work very well, and it turned out to be a pretty good way to destroy it. So I'm going through some...
So destroy it?
The wealth.
Oh, okay.
It didn't actually have the consequence, the impact that I'd hoped, because the people who got it didn't understand it.
Right.
And I didn't really know that. And so they didn't treat it with the value or the reverence that it needed in order, and the sparsity of use that it requires, and the discipline of use that it requires.
Well, and it's sort of a sophistication, too, and understanding how it is that money works within the context of commerce.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Which, now, in the perfection of 2020 hindsight, the rearview mirror world, which I'm trying really hard not to do very often, because, especially for an experience-based learning, which I haven't done that much of, and I'm doing a lot of right now, you have to remember that as you're going through the experience, you can't see yet because it is the experience that itself that brings you the new sight, that opens your eyes, that reveals these new perspectives. And so once you've gone through the experience, you have the perspectives, and if you make the mistake of turning around and looking back, it's not fair. It's, why didn't I see that? Why didn't I know that? Why didn't I understand that? Well, that's the reason why you went through the experience. You can see it now. And then the advice I get from many is just look forward. And so I'm trying to just look forward. And that huge caveat, one of the learnings, is how could I possibly have expected people to know how to use it? They'd never been around it. And so, shame on whomever. I mean, shame on me, shame, whatever. It was an untypical combination. People telling, wow, you're really helping a lot of people, and you're doing this and doing that, and that they wouldn't know how to use it properly is not that surprising in hindsight. But it was not clear. And I made the bad assumption that they would handle it the same way I did. They would figure it out and handle it the way I did. But my way of handling it is based on lots of experience of being around it, and they were around it. So it just didn't work. So most of it's gone. Oh well. Some of it's still around. And I'll use it differently moving forward. So yes, I do tie more of my, less today, more of my identity, less today than 5 years ago, to having some wealth around.
Yeah.
And I still have some, not as much as I did, and that's okay.
So change. People want instant. But you can't.
In my opinion, that's what they want. So somebody joked yesterday, okay, Obama's in office now. Is the recession over yet?
Right.
Okay, we've been waiting for him to get here. Okay, now he's here. Okay, it's like day 3. Come on, let's go. We're ready for the Dow to go back up to 12,000, and we're ready to start going to work again.
Yeah.
Now, too many structural changes, too many shifts need to occur. Too many people were busy being paid for activities that did not create value. And again, you step back, you think about it, you look at it and say, wow, that's really kind of interesting. We have all these retired people and they're driving around these RVs, and this whole industry has sprung up to park the RVs and give them all this stuff, and there's no core value being created. All these people in finance, one of the things, and this is part of the cleansing that needed to occur, and you can never legislate this, it's going to be a long time before the best and brightest coming out of our colleges and universities go straight into a career in finance. It was the path to easy money. Lots of the best and brightest took it in the 80s and 90s, and it appeared to be a great way to be successful, quote unquote. But when you look at what many of them did in those jobs, they really weren't creating value. They were moving money around, and they were moving money around. This becomes a game, right? Where it's think of new ways to move money around that the regulations haven't figured out yet and stopped. So now Obama comes out and says, oh, new game plan. We need much more transparency. We need much more this, much more visibility into the movement of money, because the best and brightest go where the money is, not in the place where the regulations are written. And so it's always one step ahead. They're one step ahead, 2 steps ahead, 3 steps ahead. Oh, we're getting away with this. It's all working. It's all great. Are they creating value? No, not really. Were we creating value to make a bunch of loans that couldn't be paid back?
Right.
Not really, but it wasn't clear at the time. That one, and part of the explanation I've heard about that one, I haven't verified, but I kind of tend to believe,